Hello. I'm starting live chat, but I'm trying to find my chat on my computer so that I'll be able to see if anybody has joined me. I'm already at 30 seconds and no one's here. That's okay. Oh, there's my hangout in the bus live chat. So now I'm loading it. I'm sitting outside at Starbucks, connected to Starbucks Wi-Fi, and there's 4 people here. Don't know who they are because I can't see comments or anything yet. I've got to turn my computer volume down because it sounds kind of weird to hear myself a minute later. Now we got 7 people. That's totally cool. There's no chat. Nobody seems to be making any comments, but that's no problem because I've got coffee. If you're here, say hi. Then I know who's participating. I don't know what to talk about tonight, but oh, hi there, Annette and Beverly and Heather. Oh, just all women, eh? Maybe I should take my glasses off. Anyway, I don't know what to talk about other than somebody on YouTube wrote an article that said that if I post every day, I might not get that much traffic to the video to be in the early hours of that video, so it may not stand a chance of Google sort of enhancing it so that it would never go viral with lots of users or lots of views. So I decided it gave me a good excuse not to make a video yesterday. So Beverly's in Comox, chilling with Dylan. Hey, that's a very cool name, Dylan. Are you Dylan? Or chillin'? Just kidding you. Venice. Familia, you're in Venice, California? I just left there 2 months ago. I absolutely love it there. It's so much like Vancouver, but crap, there's a beach there, and in the wintertime it's like our summer. Oh, and chilling with a Dylan, or chilling with Dylan is not a woman, egg ladies. Dylan's online. I'm just kidding you. Anyway, this is the second chat I've done, so I don't really know how to do this. I kind of don't have a clue. I have no problem kind of speaking, but I don't know what to say. Anybody got any questions about life in I think I actually, in my videos, make it pretty clear that this is a much better life than the guy I met just outside here when I was buying my coffee. He looked at my bus and he says, "Do you use that for work?" I said, "No, I live in it, and I travel south every year, and I drive around and visit many different places." He says, "Huh." He asked me the same question as everybody else, "Where do you park?" And I might sleep here tonight if I want to, because it after 7 o'clock or something, I don't have to put money in the meter, and so there's no restriction to stop me from parking here at 7 o'clock tonight, right outside Starbucks. But it's kind of noisy, and it's not pretty, so there's no reason for me to stay here. But it's that simple. I can park anywhere. Chief Santa says he's from Roswell, Georgia. I'm getting close beyond the road, going to look to see RVs on Monday. Oh, Chief Santa, you don't need an RV. Go find some people in RVs and ask them if you can look around. The people that are like living in them, like I do, that is traveling around, not sewer and power and stuff. If you find somebody who's not connected to sewer, they won't use that bathroom you have to pay so much money for in a motorhome. They probably use it as a closet. Greg G, a lot quieter than last. Actually, Greg, I'm in the same spot. I'm just inside my bus, and I'm going to check to see if my window's open. Yeah, if I close the window, if I close my window, it'll be quieter. So I just closed my window, so it should be even quieter. Thanks, Greg. It was a good thing that somebody mentioned to me how noisy it could be. There's probably still going to be car noise going by, but it's much quieter. Oh, Beverly Cherry's asking me if I have access to Starbucks Wi-Fi at night. What actually happens is Starbucks will turn its Wi-Fi off when they close. So around their closing time, they turn it off. So I wouldn't get Starbucks Wi-Fi at night. But there's another coffee shop nearby that I would get Wi-Fi from. It's just that their Wi-Fi is pretty crappy. It's not much better than my phone reception. In fact, sometimes it's worse than my phone. So I can only come to Starbucks to do live stuff. Where's Wendy? Hello, and hello to everybody else. Anybody else got any questions? If you're watching van life with the intention of getting into this kind of lifestyle, a nomadic lifestyle, there are so many choices, it's crazy. I can't, for example, stay in a campsite every night. My income is $1,500 a month. So if I spent $50 a night in a campsite, I'd have no money. If I spent $20 in a campsite, I would have spent too much of my budget paying for parking. So I have to, since I bought the bus, I pretty well have to not go to those paid parking places, and I have to live boondocking. In other words, I'm not going to have a washroom, except I can run into Starbucks if I want to. So I have no connections. So I have to set up my bus with a little bit of solar power, some kind of way to go to the bathroom in emergencies, and I have to have a water supply. Easily do this without buying a motorhome, without even making a plan. You need, because if you left home and with a sleeping bag in your car, you would figure out at some point that you need to buy water at the gas station in a little gallon jug, and you could buy your food at restaurants, and you could go to the bathroom at the I was sleeping sometimes at the what was it, the Flying J, or it's a gas station chain that's truckers stop there. So even a bathroom I wouldn't need. I could just park and have a sleeping bag, sleep in the back of my car. So it doesn't take much to get this started. Who's got questions? I got to see who's on here. Chief Santa, going to build a bus, but I want to go on the road for 6 months in an RV just to see what it's like. Well, Chief Santa, if you make yourself dependent on all those things that an RV has, you might not want a bus, because it's so costly to put in water and sewer and a hookup for electrical. It costs so much, it's not worth buying a bus. You might just be better to buy a motorhome. So if you get dependent on all of the things that the motorhome has, you probably won't want to downgrade to something like unless you're getting a 40-footer and you're going to spend thousands of dollars fixing it up. And who else is on here? Every time I go to look at this, some notification comes in and covers your comments. And Dirt says, hey, it's Gus in the bus. Hi, Dirt. Oh, and Heather Wilcox is asking me what I thought of RTR. I had kind of mixed feelings, because I spend all of my time by myself choosing my neighbors. In other words, if I drive into someplace and want to park, I'm usually by myself overnight. I don't have somebody who I need to communicate with, or I will feel a need to communicate with. So when I went to the RTR, I was kind of apprehensive about, not knowing my neighbors and getting mixed up with a bunch of people that I didn't really know. But I also before that I went to the Ehrenberg cleanup, and then I went to the RTR, and then I went to Schoolie Palooza. And there wasn't any time when I was sort of, the people were all nice, so I didn't care who was there. And that anxiety that I had went away. But at the RTR, I met the nicest people there. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Saznak, he has a YouTube channel, and oh damn, I've forgotten his name. Hobo Tech. The two of them were our friends and had met there already, and they had camped around a campfire. And the first day, within a couple hours of being there, Saznak came along and personally invited me to come to that campfire and told me I was expected to be there. In other words, he not only told me that I was welcome, he told me I was needed, in a sense. So he's got a YouTube channel, Saznak. It's Kansas backwards. He's the nicest man you will ever meet. And if you want to go look at his videos, you should. You should go sign up. Same with Hobotech. He's a very nice guy. And anyway, they were very good hosts around this campfire. They had made sure they invited everybody to it. And I haven't actually been to any event where people were friendly, outgoing, and courteous, and careful, and kind with each other. And that's what our campfire was like. It's just a whole bunch of nice people hanging around together. So I ended up enjoying RTR way more than I expected it to be. And once I got there and saw how many campers there were and campsites, I realized I could have walked a half a mile, made good friends, and driven over there. So even in that environment, I wasn't ever stuck. I would never be stuck with neighbors I didn't really appreciate. But then I'm easygoing anyway. At the Ehrenberg cleanup, I hung out there without any problem. I enjoyed the people that were there. I didn't make so many good friends because there was a lot of people who already knew each other, kind of cliquey. But I did meet some people, met some, and they were friendly and kind and warm. So everything I did as a group within my at RTR and at the Ehrenberg cleanup and the Schoolie Palooza, I always met people I liked a lot. A lot of them are followers, so a lot of the people that comment regularly are people that I met there or hung around the fire chatting with. Anyway, that's enough about that. So what else? That was a really good question, though. I really like that because it's hard to explain to people in a video or on when I reflect back on it. It was hard at the time to tell people about that because I was basically trying to create YouTube content that would attract a lot of viewers. And that's kind of funny. I got a lot of subscribers, but I have something to say about that. I have 1,400 subscribers, and my last video, which was 2 days ago, almost has 100 views out of 1,400 subscribers. And a lot of the people who did subscribe would be people that don't even use YouTube. And a lot of other subscribers are people who subscribe because they saw a video or they searched for nude beach and then got my nude beach video and watch it. That one gets 6,000 views a day, and the one that I actually produced for my subscribers only gets 90. It's kind of funny how that works. Anyway, John Caulker says, "Hi Gus, this is John Caulker from Connecticut. I was just wondering how I'm doing today. What type of life did you shoot today?" I didn't shoot anything today. My videos are sometimes just spontaneous. Like the other day the last one that I put up was about photographers and how they had all bundled themselves together and were all organizing themselves to shoot the same photo. And I was talking about perspective being important to photos. And the reason right square in front of something, all you're going to get is the same picture as everybody else. And I guarantee you, for all but a few people, your picture will be crappy compared to the best pictures. So you might as well lie down and, instead of standing there, if you're shooting a picture of a statue, lie down on the ground, shoot way up at it or something like that, someplace would think of shooting it from. And your picture will suddenly become extremely unusual and way more interesting than all the other people who just stand there and take a picture like a tourist. Do you understand what I mean? So the reason I say that is not to tell people how to take pictures, but to give them ideas about how to make them a little different. So, we've got another question here. Oh, it's Chef Santa, not Chief Santa. Okay, I'm sorry, Chef. I got it. You notice every time I put my glasses on, every time I want to read this, it's because I can't read without them. And then the print in my computer is very small, and I can't. There, I see. I tried to make it larger, but now I've screwed it up. Now I can't see it. I've got a touch screen, and I never touch it because every time I touch it, something goes awry. Something goes strange, like it just did. So now I've got to what do you call it? Refresh that, reload the tab. So it now says we got 14 people. Did everybody say hi? I don't think I saw 14 different people in that list, but who knows. Now I'm waiting for the list to start up again. So I looked at a group called the Pacific Northwest Nomads on Facebook, and the intention was to start doing things like the RTR, like group gatherings. It'll never get as big as the RTR because we don't have space for that anywhere that I know of. We don't have room for 10,000 units to stay, for a week. So it would never become something like the RTR, but it would be all commonly 40 to 50 motorhomes in one spot for a minimum of a week, more likely a weekend. Anyway, I started that up, and I've got about 60 people in that group, but not enough yet from my own area. Strangely, I've got lots of followers, but not many Canadian followers yet. Says, hey, got John. Okay, we did talk to John. John Caulker again. What's about maybe clubs? Maybe they would be club cruise night here in Connecticut. I don't know what you're talking about, John. Like, I don't know. Anyway, maybe you can write it again so in short, like a shorter sentence or something. Because the group that I'm talking about is not a club. It'll never be a club because clubs always you do need to have, like, charge people membership, because it has to be a lot, what do you call it, more casual than that, because people will just, we really just want people to just show up. We don't want too much administration. I sure don't want to do the job of running a club for nothing. I mean, like my videos I'm actually doing almost for nothing. I do a video every day. I make about 75 cents from YouTube ads, something like that. And so I've already got one job that I don't get paid for, and when I photograph people, I usually do that for free. So I've got lots of jobs that I can do for nothing. And we all have the opportunity to work for nothing, don't we? I just don't have it. So I don't want to be charging people, and all I want is, as far as the club goes, is for everybody to participate and to share places that we could all park in the Pacific Northwest. Because the resources are really poor, at least in my area. The first person I asked gave me a place that I never heard of. And then the next person I asked told me another place. And then the next person I asked gave me another place. And they're all within 50 miles of each other. So there's actually lots of spots, but we just don't share them. What do we got now? Oh, Beverly Cherry. I watch lots of videos, and it seems that you have an American boondock, or that you have to be in America to boondock. Do we have any boondocking in the Northwest? Well, that's actually what I was just saying. I found a website that gives me about 5 or 6 places near Vancouver, what would be called southern BC, but it probably has 20, maybe 18 to 20 places throughout BC that, and in most cases, they are campsites that you can stay at for 2 weeks, and many of them will have a toilet and running water, and the roads are reasonably well kept getting into them. So there are spaces and there are places, but you know, I'm not the only one that should be researching them. Other people should be in that group that I'm talking about, which is the Pacific Northwest Nomads. Everybody should be putting in places that make sense for group camping, or you know, make a note, say, well, you could go here, but there's only one bus at a time or one van at a time. Because if the group could find places where there were 40 or 50 motorhomes could go, or something like that, even 20, then we could go there without, like, most of these places don't take reservations. They're free, so they don't take reservations. So when you get there and there was only 4 spots, we wouldn't drive 500 miles and risk getting a place that has only 4 spots. But if the place had room for 50 motorhomes or 50 vans, then we could risk going there and risk planning to get there and stay. What's missing most of the time that I see all over the place is that, yeah, you know, if you ask where can you park in Vancouver, well, it really depends on where you want to hang out in Vancouver. Vancouver's a huge city, 3 million people, so from one extreme to the other is about 60 miles. So if you came here planning to sleep on the street, for example, like I do, but your friend lived in a town called Langley, which is a suburb of Vancouver, that's 60 miles from where I'm at right now. So any information I would give you about parking in Vancouver would be useless if that's where your friend was and that's where you wanted to hang out. So most of the time, parking information is just thrown out and stuff without ever really asking getting some point of reference. So if somebody's coming to Vancouver and they want to know how to hang out on that beautiful beach they see in all my videos, I'm the guy to ask, right? If they were to ask, generally speaking, all the people in Vancouver, they would find out places that are like 18 miles from the beach, any beach. Because we do have, obviously, like if you've been to Los Angeles or any other big city, it has pockets and communities that are absolutely miles away from where you would want to hang out. Sometimes in seedy kind of environments too. Anyway, so that was about, are there places in the Pacific Northwest? Well, Beverly, it's your job to find some, as it is my job to find some. So let's find them and put them in that group. I'm going to keep saying the group because it's important. Pacific Northwest Nomads on Facebook. What I actually have now is about 60 members, but I bet 45 are more than 1,000 miles away. And they're joining the group because they would like the information the group will give them if we get enough Pacific Northwesterners in it to build an actual usable database kind of thing. I build websites, and I can build one for free, and if we get enough people and we get enough data, then I'll build a website that information, much like Bob Wells's whatever it is, cheap RV living. Actually, that's the only thing when we were talking about the RTR, that was the only thing I didn't like about the RTR, that it was designed for people to go and live in the desert. All of the workshops were designed for people to go and hang out in that area where you got 14-day free land. because that's the only 14-day free land that Bob knows of, or that most of us know. I know of it now, but I didn't know unless I talked to Bob. So Bob is constantly selling the desert as the best place. I guarantee you, the place I'm setting up my van meeting is going to be 100 times prettier than hanging out in the desert. I guarantee you, unless you don't like trees, you don't like lakes and streams with snow on the top. I get, if you need to have a desert, a flat desert with little hills here and there, then and 3 plants, then you'll prefer the desert. But if you want pretty, this is going to be super pretty. What's another question here? If any, oh. Beverly Cherry is saying it's nice if there's a place we could share this info. That's what the group's for to begin with. It's to get enough people together so that there is info, and eventually we can have a website. But it's your responsibility as much as mine. I'm not any celebrity or anything. Like I said, most of my followers are somewhere else in the world. They're not around here. And I do have friends who like other YouTubers who might come. Some of them you know, but they're not committing yet, so I'm not able to say who they might be. But I definitely guarantee you that there's likely to be 10 motorhomes at the very least. Or I met a woman with a bus today. She's pretty positive about it, and I know some other people that are pretty positive about it. So I'm sure there's going to be at least 10 motorhomes. Where's Wendy? We have BC forestry sites and some crown land. I mean, that's the crazy thing, is that we have 98% of the province of BC, which is probably the same landmass as California. 98% of it is crown land, and we can camp any of those places. The difficulty is finding a space that will hold 10, 20, 30 motorhomes. Like I can drive down a gravel road, camp anywhere, but there may not be a clearing big enough to hold the people. That's actually the thing that we're looking for. When I was a younger guy, I could just drive down a gravel road in my pickup truck, and about every 15 miles or so, I'd find a big, huge clearing, because that's where the logging trucks would bring that's where the logs were brought so that they could put onto the logging truck. In other words, all the logs were pulled down the mountain from many different directions to one location, and then they were put on a logging truck. Then they were driven down that forestry road to where it got near the water. And sometimes they had had a clearing and a dock, and those logs would then be put onto a barge or just rolled into the water. So I don't know if those clearings are still in existence or if they've grown over and stuff, but there are lots of opportunities in BC. It's just that people aren't going out and finding the places, and then when they do find the places, they're not thinking in terms of, hey, this would be good for 25 motorhomes. They're kind of going, oh, well, I better not tell anybody about it or everybody will be here. So we have to stop this sort of secrecy that keeps these things quiet. What is this? For your information, you're occasionally buffering. Yeah, I can't do anything about that. We're connected to Starbucks. Oh, Beverly Cherry says, I'm a guru. That's hardly the case. I am, in the sense that I've been doing this for 2 years. And I had to learn enough about things to make a decision. I mean, I have to tell you, one of the reasons I don't go into a big, long story about YouTube, about about solar panels and solar power, is because I bought used stuff and fit it together as I learned about it. And so I bought a system for a 250 watt system for about 300 bucks. Now, no, it's actually, yeah, it's 250 watts. But I did it as I could afford it, and I did it as I needed it. I didn't ever have to just go out and, for my friend, I went to look at how much it would cost him to buy a 200 watt system that he can't expand. I say he can't expand it because his system's set up for 200 watts. If he had then bought another solar panel, his solar controller wouldn't work. Anyway, what I'm saying is that I'm not an expert at these things. I don't want to become an expert. And so I don't try to tell everybody how to buy their stuff. Like, I'll give you an example. What's different between me and Bob Wells is that Bob Wells wants to sell a solar kit down at the bottom of his YouTube. You know, in the description of his YouTube, he says, go to Amazon and buy this solar one, or go to this store and buy this solar panel. He's doing that to earn a commission, and which is fine, but he's a salesperson, and I'm not selling people stuff. I'm simply telling them the truth, or my truth. It doesn't mean that Bob's lying. He's offering a retail product at a reasonable price. But when you buy a system that's put together, often you can't expand it. So the first question people should be asking is solar power that I bought isn't going to manage, in other words, it's going to cost me more to upgrade more than just buying a panel. In other words, if you upgrade, you have to buy a panel, then you have to buy a controller. So the question they should be asking is, how big a charge controller do I need? And then I can buy panels as I need them until I learn how much I'm going to use. Because, you know, you don't need much power. Anyway, the point, I'm getting off talking about solar panels when, in fact, I'm trying to say I'm not an expert and I shouldn't be doing that. Kind of crazy. I'm one of those people that gets carried away with blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to see where I was. For your information, you keep buffering. Yeah, that's right. Oh, Greg put in a comment right on time. I'd rather hear about your photography and see the beautiful people in your photos. Bob Wells is good at the RTR, and that's it. Well, that's about what I think too. I think his RTR is absolutely amazing. But I can't, I'm not going to, this isn't about the people that I photograph. In fact, I love doing it, and I meet really nice people, and originally I had planned to do a lot more photography of people. But it's a lot of work getting that organized, and I have to schedule my time to be in a certain place to meet with them. So there's a lot of things that I'm starting to dislike about it based on what I get from it. I don't get very much from it. And the photo shoots that I do, each of the photo shoot videos I did are not monetized. So YouTube doesn't want to see them monetized because they're not advertiser friendly. Not because I'm photographing a girl, but because they're in a bikini. That's probably the reason. So the people that I photograph are generally fitness people, or people that think they're fit, or, you know, often I got into shooting people on the beach in bathing suits because my clients were people who were going weightlifting and working out really hard in order to go into what's called a fitness contest, and they would be basically bikini contests, except that it's you know, I don't know what the right word is, except that they're rule based. In other words, they would be looking at fitness characteristics rather than just, you know, pretty hair or whatever. They weren't looking at just pretty, because certainly they, not that it's better, they were looking at a body which is pretty much a what do you call it, if it was a beauty contest, they would call it objectifying women. But if it's a bodybuilding contest, they are objectifying the body, but they're supposed to be uh, judging the work the girl did to get her body to look like that. And that's the same judging characteristic that they would use for men. So it's not really objectifying just women. It's the kind of people who do objectify people, men and women, based on their body. Anyway, so those were the girls that used to pay me. So that's how I got into that job. But I originally started out wanting to just do headshots. But I became very popular as a photographer shooting people on the beach. Too bad YouTube is down on art. That's Gary G. Yes, Gary, it's too bad YouTube's down on it. But I'll still be doing those photo shoot videos, but I have to keep them within certain limit. I've actually thought of putting just the photo shoots, my photo shoots of people and maybe my van tours in my Patreon, so that the Patreon viewers would get something that the other viewers aren't going to get. So they might as well get those things that are not going to be monetized. So Gary G, go to Patreon, and then send me a note and said, I'm here, send me those photo shoot videos. I'm kind of kidding, but that is one thing that I've been thinking of. I'm trying to figure out what kind of videos to give to my Patreon my Patreon supporters. And when I get around, I'll get around to it soon, but I obviously need to see some Patreon supporters. There's a few, but just not many yet. And I'm still a little channel, so I'm not expecting a lot of support on Patreon at the moment. But it'll happen one day, I suppose. I should tell you how this channel's going. Every video I make makes about $1. But I have one video, like I started out talking about. How many people we got on there? 17. I've got one video that I started out talking about that was called The Biggest Nude Beach in the World. And because it's nude beach, it's getting a lot of views, and apparently it's going to be paying me more every day than every new video that I make. For a while anyway. But I'll give you an example. The last video I made had 90 views in 2 days. And the last 2 days, the other video, the nude one, has had 6,000 views. So obviously, no one cares about my photography tip. But a whole bunch of people are really, want to go and see the new beach that I visited. And so life is pretty strange. In fact, I've been very down lately because the number of views that I get on my videos is dropping while my subscriber count is going up. And the number of views I get on my videos is the most of them come from non-subscribers. So those people who are subscribing are not watching my videos. They're subscribed but not watching them. And so I've got to figure out how to please my subscribers. But everyone's coming back with, oh, I love that video, I like this video, but they're not saying I would like to see, something else. I'm not going to be doing van tours too much, but I'm not going to be like touring my own bus. That's for other YouTube videos, other YouTubers. If they tour my van, which one of them is going to be putting that up in a couple of days, if they tour my van, then they've got something that's kind of exclusive, and they'll bring me a lot of subscribers. But if I do it, everything that my subscribers are waiting for will be given to them, and they'll leave. That's the way I look at it. Sounds kind of dumb. It sounds dumb to many people, but I think if I was to show too much of my van every day, then I would soon have people leave, because I haven't done the prettiest job. I've just done the cheapest job. Like, I've got a piece of plywood down there. It's just plywood, and I painted it white. instead of melamine, whatever do you call this? This is what do you call this kind of cabinet you get from Home Depot? So, you know, half the bus looks kind of pretty and the other half. I'm sitting on a box that's like at a sort of table. What would you call it? Like a dinette table, which is typical of motorhomes, where there's a table in the middle and then seats on either side. Well, I built this because I wanted to put my batteries in here. Now I'm thinking I should put my batteries at the back of the bus. So because my solar panels were, I decided to put my solar panels on the side of the bus, and the batteries would be better there because they're closer to the solar panels, and I would need less wiring, and I have a more efficient system. So this bus is constantly changing, and if I did for example, if I showed you what it looked like today, in 2 weeks it could be completely different. But it's not like, you know, I've got a friend named Chrome, and he's well organized and coordinated. In other words, he bought enough furniture, it's all coordinated. And he you know, put in some shelves recently, and his what do you call it, bed cover and stuff like that, and walls are all coordinated. Well, I haven't gotten there yet. I haven't made it finished yet, but all the parts that I need are here. I just have to take the time at some point when I figure out how I'm going to finish off the last little bit and where my batteries will go, etc. When I figured out what the final plan will be, then I'll finish it all and make it look pretty. Now, who's talking to me here? Anyone? When it says Chad, it says 17, but I bet there's not 17 people here now. Because not many are talking. Oh, Penny Perez McFadden says she's subscribing now. Where's Wendy? Is there a super chat for your channel? Yeah, I don't know. Is there a super chat for my channel? I don't know how to make things work. I've got to tell you this. I used to be a programmer. I used to build web applications, and I think YouTube's tools for users like myself, especially new ones, are totally crappy. And I don't know why would I have to turn on super chat? Like, who wouldn't want super chat? But I don't know if it's allowed yet. So if anybody can see, oh, there's a super chat, I think. It's in yellow. No, it's not. So maybe you guys can tell me if you see any super chat buttons. And so next time I do a video, I'll know if it works. In other words, I can keep trying it until something works. I have no idea how to turn that on, a super chat. Okay, Annette's still here. Okay, so Annette, tell me if there's a super chat there. If you know how to use it. I mean, some people know how to use it and some people don't. But I think there should be a button that says, you know, super chat, right? Well, Beverly, that's exactly what people can do with super chat. They send money. Well, what they're kind of doing is paying. They send money, but that super chat, that puts the super chat into a special category, so it would be lit up for me, so I would know that that super chat took place. But what I'm saying is that YouTube doesn't. You know, I started this on my phone. I might find out that I'm not allowed to get super chats when I start the video on my phone. I'm going to give you an example. I can shoot my video and edit it on my phone and upload it on my phone, and I can set it up in every respect on my phone, except I have to go into the computer to put an end screen on. That's the end screen that says please subscribe, and then that it might refer you to another video. So to put that end screen on, I have to go to a Starbucks. But otherwise I can do everything from the beach. So just to put that end screen on, just because I've got to get on a laptop and connect to Wi-Fi some other way than my phone, I must drive to some location so that I can do it with my laptop. Now, you know, YouTube could fix that in like 2 seconds, but they don't put it. They put an awful lot of money and all of their resources to pleasing you, to providing you with fast service, and providing the creator, somebody like me, with very slow internet response, big heavy pages that take a long time to load, and so they're not doing a great job for me. But I appreciate what they're doing because I appreciate the platform. Just that I can see that it can be improved a lot. How do I look with the it's better without the glasses, but I need them to see what's going on here. I'm watching on a phone, so I can't see it. Okay, so Annette can't see Super Chat because she's on a phone, and I kind of agree with her. I don't know how to do things on a phone either. A lot of people use a phone and they don't know how to comment on a video. You actually, in case you don't know, I'm just going to explain it. You're watching the video, you have to tilt the screen, the phone sideways so that you're looking at the small video on the top, then scroll past all of the other videos that are there, and then you start to see the comments, and you can make a comment at the bottom of the page. So there's a good example. YouTube makes, for a lot of people, I've shown 2 people this week how to comment on a video because they've said, I use my phone and I don't know how to do it. That's an example of how it's strangely YouTube can't find a way to let you make a comment on a video unless you scroll through pages of other videos. What's this? Greg put in a link. What's the link to, Greg? Oh, about Super Chat. How Super Chat works. Okay. I'm going to go there. Oh, hi, Chrissy. How's Kelowna up there? How is the snow gone yet? Is it warm at night and not freezing yet? I don't know what time of year it is that I can go to Kelowna and make sure I'm not going to freeze at night. Because it would be, I know now it would be, if it was a sunny day, it would be very beautiful. But I remember when I was a younger man, I went up there camping one time, and I think it was probably in April or early May, and it was still freezing at night at that time. So let's see what this, how to enable. Oh, you see what happens? There's a good example. Who did that? Greg, you sent me a link to show me how to enable Super Chat. And here I am, I'm in a video. YouTube would always send you to another video. And I'm going to watch the damn video for half an hour to find out how to do it. And if it was made 2 years ago, sometimes it doesn't even apply today. So it's very YouTube doesn't even, I mean, I haven't tried yet because I thought Super Chat just started up, right? I just thought if I go on and I'm monetized and I'm allowed to do Super Chat, then it would be turned on. Like, why would I turn it off? Or why would anybody start one of these with it turned off? Anyway, next time I'm on live, I'll know how Super Chat works. I'm going to figure that out for sure. Oh, and Chrissy, someone says that it's 17 degrees and beautiful in Kelowna. But how cold is it at night? That's the only thing I'm thinking of. But I know by May when we go, we're going to go to, on the last week, Chrissy, or wait a sec, yeah, Chrissy, do you want to come to that van meeting we're going to have? It's between Pemberton and Lillooet, and not far from you, right here. It's not much further from you than it is for us to go there. So, you know, I'm not sure whether you're a member of the Pacific North, the PNW Nomads on Facebook. But if you're not, go join it, and then you might be able to join us at one of our campouts, group campouts. And you don't have to have a van, by the way, people. You could have a tent, or it wouldn't matter. You can go get one of those ripstop pieces of tarp, and you could make a lean-to there. It wouldn't matter. It's not that hard to spend the night in the woods. But you know, if you have a tent or you have rented a van for a weekend, be all the same results. Okay, so Chrissy's gonna think about it. That's what I love. There are people who, if you can't make a commitment, no, I'm serious about this. If people don't make commitments, no one else can plan because they didn't commit. You can say yes or no, but I'll think about it as kind of a, you know, in the long run, it would be nice if if you do plan to go, it'd be nice to just simply state, I'm going to come. I say this because I'm a photographer and I'm always constantly trying to organize times with people. And people who won't commit to a time actually never show up. But they always go, well, maybe. Why the hell don't they just say no? And I'm not picking on you, by the way, Chrissy. I'm just the other people that are getting here. So, hello from Northern Ontario, from Yo-Yo-ness 12. I think, yeah. Yeah, so Wendy, if you're having surgery, just say you can't come. Because, you know, I mean, that would be what I'm saying is that's a better way for better thing for the organizers to hear, because it's always better to exceed the goal than to have had maybe 10 people who can't come say they might. You see what I mean? Because then you can actually plan. You know how much of stuff to bring if you're bringing things for other people. Let's say somebody was going to come and you know, we felt that people, well, let's say we felt we were going to come with some food for a potluck, and we expected 25 people and only 5 showed up. We would have spent a lot of money on potluck for the maybe ones, right? Anyway, Greg, step 3, you must have monetization enabled for your channel. I've got monetization enabled. Step 4, you must have super chat enabled. Well, when I saw I've never seen super chat unenabled or enabled. I've never seen it anywhere. So I'm going to have to go and figure out where that is. But thanks, Greg. That's awesome. I'm going to actually go and look now. I'm going to go to my studio to see where that could possibly. It could be in this settings for this video, but I can't get to those settings at the moment because I have to shut the video down. In fact, maybe it's time to do that anyway.
Excuse me?
Yes?
So could you please move a little bit front?
All right.
I have a delivery for the Starbucks.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So guys, I'm going to start my bus and I'm going to move it forward so the guy who's delivering stuff to Starbucks can get in here. And we might lose a connection, and I'm going to drive slowly so the phone doesn't fall over. So, did we survive? Or am I too far from Starbucks? We all went for a ride in the bus. We moved about 20 feet. And he seems to be in, yeah, I seem to have left him enough room, so that's pretty good. Hey Greg, you're like amazing. I've got a problem, so Greg's helping them all. Thank you, Greg. Well, what was video, and take it another time. But I mean, I find this kind of fun. But the problem is, I have to get by Starbucks. I have to park right beside it. So if the parking lots right beside it are used up, I won't be able to do it. So anyway, good night, guys. It's a Saturday night, and it's bright enough outside for me to have done this, but I won't be able to. Later on in the summer, I'll be able to do them quite a bit later, but this is about it for now. So say goodbye, everybody. Okay, bye-bye, guys. A few of you said goodbye.